Good morning. Welcome everyone to the Market Watch Group weekly market prep. As I said, we're gonna implement this week some changes. And as I look at what we're gonna do, I think it's actually a good thing because it's gonna make sure that we anchor some times and some concepts for beginners. And I think sometimes, I know I definitely do this. Clint probably does it sometimes. But I think that the assumption gets made that, oh yeah, now everyone gets this and we'll just move forward, and we start moving faster and faster. And so I think that by anchoring some specific time slots, some specific meetings around beginner concepts, I think it's going to actually make it better for everyone. And so I think this is a good thing. There's going to always be time for us to dive into more complex trades. That will also be there. So don't think that, hey, I want to be talking spreads, and are we still going to do that? Yes, definitely. I think this is going to be a good adjustment. I'm excited about it. That will come just organically, will be rolled out. I didn't get a chance to do it for today. My thought process to split the Sunday session up into kind of like beginning advanced concepts is actually going to be advanced first. So the first half an hour, and I'm gonna adhere to it. The first half an hour, not today, going forward, although we'll see today if I can keep the time somewhat in line with what I'm talking about for this agenda, is going to be the posture internals, right? Where we go through it and we analyze it. And because it's going to be earmarked advanced, because we have videos that demonstrate what we're doing for anyone who wants to catch up with it, we'll go fast. So if you're like, hey, I just want to dive in and talk about it, and I don't want to have you teaching it every time, that's going to be good. So we'll score it, and then the second part, so the second half an hour is going to be the implications, and that's where we're going to go back and be like, okay, what's a checklist? What can we do with this information? So I'm a 5.75, and I used to be a 7. What does that mean? Or right, whatever. Where we talk about what does that mean specifically in how we're going to start trading tomorrow morning in our first session. So there's going to be more checklists. I've decided we need more checklists that are kind of like, have you done this, this, and this to be ready? Have you done this and that, right? Things like that. So more Q&A sessions specifically designated, where even if you're just asking the question somewhere in the chat, we're going to bring those over. So if there's live questions, we're going to answer questions live. So I have the Monday session in the evening, the Wednesday session in the afternoon with Glenn, and then the Friday session in the morning. Those are going to be more QA oriented. Those are going to have some specific beginner checklist type things to address. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday is going to be pretty standard. We're going to do our normal thing, but you're going to see there's going to be some checklist type time frames established to just sort of check in and be like, okay, here's what you should have, here's what you should be doing, right? And then Tuesday, Thursday is going to be the same. Beginners for 45 minutes. We're going to open it up by 15 minutes. So I think these are good changes, but it's not what I think, it's what you think. So as cheat sheets, I love it. I love it. How to read the option chain, going through that over and over. Those are the things where it's like we don't do it once and then assume we do it again and again and again and again. And if you get to a good point, you can tune it out a little bit till we get to trades. And if you're new, it helps. Love it. But I am looking to get feedback from you guys. So let me know as we implement this. We don't want to then be like, hey, this is so basic now. This train feels like it's a kiddie train. we still want this to be a moving train. We just want it to be much stronger for onboarding and to make it easier for newbies to come on. So that's the objective. That's what we're working towards, so that this week and with Glenn and I, we're going to be trying to do a few new things, change it up a little bit, break out of any stagnation that we may have with the meetings that we're running, and really making sure that we're achieving these objectives with our new traders. So I'm asking for your help, whether you post it in the suggestion box space, whether you send it directly to me or to Glenn. Please let us know if you're new, if it's helpful for you, if you've been around a while, if you like that we're doing it this way and you can see the benefit. I mean, just give us some feedback. Okay, with that in mind, let's jump into today. As always, we're not brokers, we're not advisors, we don't give advice or recommendations. This subscription service is for education, illustrative purposes only. What is our agenda today? Market posture. Right? Market posture. So I am going to redo some of my slides now to get these new agendas in place. That's been something I've been meaning to do anyway. So why not at the start of 2025, get that information going. It is still going to be in this order. So the advanced part will be the market posture, and a little bit of the economic calendar. What are we looking for? What information is important to us? Then we don't do sector searching anyway. Sector searching is something I've moved to Tuesday nights. But part of it is just evaluating what sectors maybe need to be searched. And as we've cleaned up our watch list, there's a good chance we need to re-identify leaders coming out as dust settles, right? That's definitely something we should do with every sector, in fact. So Tuesday, I think, will be a good one to come to for the foundation session if you're wanting to search and flesh out your watch list a little bit more. Identifying a trading plan section of the week. That's going to be something we do again, starting now in the new year. Creating our weekly opportunity list out of our watch list, doing our watch list maintenance. Those are all great activities. Translating posture to action, things like that. That'll be what we do in the second half. So we'll just refine our agenda, clean it up a little bit. I think it should be a good adjustment, but let's adhere to that agenda for today. So with that in mind, let me bring up our posture. Sorry, I have low resources. Okay, I guess I'm using a lot of stuff. How's the audio quality? Let me know. I just got a message that said my resources are tight, but if the audio's fine, then I'm gonna. But give me maybe if a few people let me know how's it sounding. Audio's fine. John says. Clint says it's fine. John, wanted to reach out because I saw you pop in and out the other night. I was unable to apologize that I thought I had the Zoom set up and it went back to the Circle stream, and I was thinking, oh, he's probably on his mobile and couldn't join. So if that's what happened, my apologies. Thought I had it addressed. We should be good now. Zoom is our way going forward to make sure that make sure that the audio quality is better, to make sure that mobile users can join without any issues. So if you are mobile, if you tend to be mobile more, reach out and tell me if you feel like there's a better way that we can do it than Zoom, based on what we have available via YouTube, right? We've tried the YouTube stream. There was a little bit of iffiness with the chat function, so that's what's led us to Zoom. But again, give us the feedback. Okay. Wasn't a problem? Oh, okay. Good. Well, it helped remind me that I needed to take care of it. So there you go. I appreciate you letting me know. Let's pop in. Market posture. These are the weeks I missed. Steve W. caught me up. Do I have the 22nd right? I was meaning to go back and watch the video, and I just haven't had a chance. I want to still, but you know how life gets in the way. Are these numbers the right numbers? Let me know if I have it. Let's see. Okay, now here's the deal. That was an interesting one here. So that was for me. I didn't know if we got down there all at once. On 1222 there was a 1. Okay, I would have thought that too. I thought it wouldn't have dropped below that. I don't know if I would have gone to 0.75. Let me. If anyone else sees any, volume was 0 on both days. Call it out to me. I'm open to. Oh, let me make sure I have press in here. Okay. 0 on volume 1222. Okay. Does this look about right then? I'd have to think that would stay a 0. Maybe it's like that. That seems like that could be right. Or did this even drop to a minus? I wonder if this would have had to have gone to a minus 0.25. Did anybody go minus 0.25 on volume? I'm going to put it like this. That's where it was. This is where we're going right now. Let's just see how it looks based on this context. Okay. SPY. Weekly. As far as alerts, option, posture, there we go. This 1.5 for me is intact. We've tested it and tested it. It seems to be holding. I'm good with this as is. So I'm leaving mine 1.5 alone. It doesn't seem like anybody changed theirs along the way. But yeah. Okay. Let me know if anyone did. 1.5. All right. Let's keep going. Short-term score. Short-term score. This is where it could have gotten interesting. It looks like it dropped half of a point and then it stayed the same. Does that sound right? And I'm going to go in and change this back down here So on 12/22, yeah, I mean, that's where you see we had this big and then we continued. I could see a half a point. I could see a half a point. There's Stephen D. Stephen took. Oh, okay. That might have been me. I thought I had hit it, and then I'll have to just kind of keep an eye on that and make sure. The waiting room is good, but once the meeting starts, I got to figure out the waiting room better. I wanted to just let you straight in once we're started. I'm not sure how I can do that. I got to look into the Zoom. That's on me. We had to adjust for rate cut response, and then it showed some promise, keeping it from dropping it further. That makes sense, press. That makes sense. As I look at the thought process, it looks like, let me get one more week in here. It looks like that half a point for the first one, and by the time we got up and then back down, yeah, I mean, it had bounced off of it. Here we are. Last week, we pulled back. We tested lower. But our bodies held higher. I still feel okay looking at this as a slightly higher low. At the very, very least, it's the same low. But, yeah, I feel like the 1.25 is a good number. It's a good place to be. I'm not going to raise it. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is definitely a higher low without a little bit more confirmation to bring it back to like a 1.5. Because for me, I was starting to wonder if this was a 1.75 at all. So for me, I think, you know what? I'm going to wait. And if it breaks back above this, I'm going to call it a 1.5 again. And I'm going to see if that actually is what we become. So I think we're in a good place with that. I think you guys did a good job of catching the tone of what happened by dropping it a half a point, but keeping it bullish. I do still want to go listen in to be a fly on the wall and see if I can't kind of see what people were saying during that time. But if I'm picking up on the tone of what the conversation was, I like it. You have to account for this. That has to be accounted for in a way. That was a big thing, and it did make a lower high, but we've come back and we seem to be. So some people are like, well, then shouldn't we be calling this a zero? Remember, we let our bullishness linger. It lingers with our score on purpose because that's the expectation of how the market's more likely to behave. Okay. Let me just check. I'm just checking to make sure no one is stuck in the waiting room. Thoughts, questions, concerns. So I'm staying at 1.25, which is kind of where I thought we ended up. Let me pull that up. Yeah, 1.25. I like it. I'm good with that. So over the course of this little disruption, our trend score only got knocked down by half a point. Volume, though, this is where, did I catch this right? So we were at a 0.25. So on December 22nd, let's go here. And I'm going to go back to November 20th. Okay, so if this is what it looked like when we postured on that day, all that's left is an old tie day that gets thrown out, nothing in the middle, sell, tie, buy. Does that look right? Sell, tie, buy. How do you have it? And that to me would be a minus 0.25. Well, maybe I would say a 0, actually. Where did we go? Did you guys go to a 0? Okay, a 0. I could see that. I could see it being a 0 or a minus with there being 2 sell days like that. That's an interesting one. I could see that one maybe going a little bit back and forth. Basically sideways, a little bit negative, and then we go forward to the next week. Then we go here to the 27th. Is that right? 27th? Yeah, just to the 27th. And we added another sell day. And we added another sell day. So I actually feel like I agree. I would say 0 here, but I would go negative on this one. Now I have 1, 2, 3 sell days, a tie, and a buy. Now that's gone negative, which is interesting because even I've gone negative now. I would have, but the line is basically slightly down, sideways to slightly down. So I would say that I would come into today at a negative, and I was like, maybe this might even drop again. So we'll see. And I would probably have said something like this, I think. I don't know. Does that look right? Dropped a 1 1/4, then maybe another 0.5 point. Maybe it stabilized somewhere along those lines. Let's talk about volume. Today's volume now. Okay. There's what we have. Sorry, someone tried to post. Oh, I see it. Thank you, Sandy. I see yours. At this point, tell me if anyone disagrees with how I have mine labeled. This did not get above average volume. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sell days, 2 ties, and 1 buy. We were at 3 sell days, a tie and a buy. Now we're at 4 sell days, a tie and a buy. Steven has been at 0 and he went to a minus 0.25. I think I would have been a 0, then a minus, and I'm flirting with a minus 0.5 here. What happened to the volume on 12/23? Oh, I missed one. I think you're right, Bob. I think you're right. I missed that. Okay, good catch. That definitely changes things. Uh, 12/16. Look at you guys. You're not wrong, Miguel. Love it. Okay. Okay. That changes a lot of things. I agree. I would actually not. I think I would have actually done what Steven did, or maybe even, I think I might have done this. And I agree with Steven. Maybe it hits this. Let's go. Putting that in, I love it. Putting it into context. Okay. Yeah, there was a little, the buyers definitely pushed this here. They got 15% above. Sellers came right back. Sellers, tie, buyers, buyers. Okay. Now, where does that put us? Sell, 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 sell. Buy, buy, buy. 3, 4, 3, 2. 4, 3, 2, but with this, yeah, okay. 4, 3, 2. Slightly in favor. I think the minus 0.25 is okay. It reflects that this is definitely the freshest, and there's no buying volume in here. This was a good battle, but it left the market slightly underneath where it was, so we would have to say that went to the sellers. Right now, the sellers are trying. They haven't done much with it, but we haven't seen the buyers yet. I'm going to leave this slightly there. That's I think that makes sense. I like that. So there. Minus 0.2. I might even leave it at a 0, actually. Tie goes to the buyers. It's not quite. I'm going to slope check. Slope check's always a good idea. Okay, I'm going to leave it at minus 0.25. It's a little more than flat to the downside. Too weak for a 0, Steven said. Fair enough. I like that. That's a good consensus. Minus 0.25. Great discussion. Great discussion today. Let's open this back up. And let's go take a look at major market. Major market. Let's make sure we're all the way where we should be. We are. Who's on top? NASDAQ is leading. S&P in the middle. Then what? Now we're back to the race for third. The Russell worked so hard to try to achieve a place, and then it just sort of couldn't hold on. Now it's back down. So you can see already it's that one score requires that the Russell is on top consistently across time frames with the NASDAQ. And already here it's not. Already from this longer term, it's sort of lost it. It was here, it gained it for a little bit, and it popped the score up, but as it's popped back down, yeah, I think that would be moving us back towards, it doesn't take much. I'm not trying to ride at a perfect score unless it is really riding at a perfect score. So back in this, when this came back, I don't think it would have been until... actually, maybe we would have seen that. Which would have probably pushed this back to a 0.75. Ish. I think. Yeah. Okay. So I'm kind of refining mine as I go. With a little bit of historic. Now let's dive into the next perspective. 133. Okay, so here we have some interesting. We have the S&P at the bottom, small caps at the top with the Nasdaq also holding. This is a wash. It's all kind of in the same place. Everyone kind of met in the middle. It's a wash with at least the Russell and the Nasdaq on top. So it's not like I'm like making excuses. I'm saying, hey, if anything, it would score more bullishly than not. But I'm kind of like, let's see what happens when we get back to the 66. And here we have the Nasdaq back on top. You can see the Russell has fallen again, but is kind of trying to move back into that third spot. So I think that keeping it at a 0.75, there's nothing that I'm punishing. It's not like we're punishing the Russell. The Russell couldn't hold on, but it's not like there was a shift between the Russell and the Dow. I don't see any defensive shift there. I just see them kind of both dropping. So I'm going to leave my score for that. Let's drop down to 22. NASDAQ leading. S&P in the middle. And then now we have the Dow slightly ahead of the Russell. So in the current little pullback that we've seen, the Russell's slightly weaker than the Dow, but nothing where I'm like, oh, that's a shift. We'll keep our eye on that and see if it continues to play out. And if it does, then we'll adjust back to a 0.5. If not, we can leave it at a 0.75. That's kind of where I am. And I think that holds. So I think I would have seen that drop here. Move it across. What do you guys think about that? How do you see major market now? Did you see it transition before or after me? Let me know. And let's jump to sector rotation. Okay, so interesting here. Who's on top? Discretionary. All right, I like that. I mean, it's held up even in this pullback. Just put a trade on with Amazon. It seems like some strength could come from that. Utilities is starting to show some strength again. Communication services we like. Financials still up in a leading position. Technology still right there. Industrial's a little farther back, but still ahead of the defensives. Staples are down here. Healthcare is down here. Energy, materials. Still has an overall bullish look to it, right? We dropped to 133 days. Where's our growth sectors? Discretionary is on top. Financials is holding up. Communication services is holding up. Utilities is there, but we still kind of evaluate that to have some measure of bullishness attached to it. Industrials is there. The weakest one from a sector standpoint is technology, which is interesting because technology is carrying the day from a major market standpoint. So I'm not worried about technology, and the rest of it is still growth oriented. So I agree that we should still be overall bullish on how we evaluate the sectors and still looking at our bullish sectors for opportunity. Let's drop down to 66. Here you can see industrials and, had dropped a little bit, but that's about it. Other than that, we still have discretionary leading, communication services. We've got some great setups in there. Reddit, Roblox, technology's looking good. Financials are holding up. Honestly, I think I was thinking about dropping that, but I kind of feel like that one is holding up. None of our growths lost their ground. None of the defensive surged. The weakest is still technology, and technology is fine from a different perspective. I'm going to leave it at a 1. I didn't even pull it. I thought I might drop it to a 0.75. tell me your thoughts on that. Where does everybody stand? Are you still in a 1? Are you at a 0.75? Are you even less? Am I Bob's still a 1? All 5 of our sectors remain strong, scoring. Yeah, I love it, you guys. I'm with you. The 1 holds. Magnificent. Okay. I have not looked at this in a while. I'm curious where we stand. Current rate is 425 to 45, so 90% chance we stay the same for the next cut. And then we start to see almost 50-50 that we might get a quarter point for March. And it barely shifts. So it goes from slightly under 50-50 to March to slightly over 50-50 to May. I think I'm going to put myself in the May camp. I don't think we see a high or a cut until May. In May, as long as everything looks pretty stable and inflation has stayed at a point, I think we're going to see it kind of locked in. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Press loves that there's no expectation, takes the pressure off, takes us off the Fed, Fed scour, always looking for Fed information. I agree with that. Clinton says May as well. Okay, I like it. Steven says he would like to see what the... Okay, so here's the question. Is a spending bill passed by May? Passed and in law. It's through the Senate, it's through the House, and it's in law. Does that happen or does it get held up? Oh, that's a good one. What is going to be the effectiveness of this new government coming in? Do they pass things quickly? Late May? All right. I hope. Any kind of infrastructure bill is going to be useful, I would imagine. So, hell to pay, right? Agreed. Okay, let's get to the VIX, and then let's get to the watch list. I feel like we're in a pretty good place. The VIX definitely made a lower high. It's funny because we just, that came on the 13th. Everything was looking fine, right? We met. I left on vacation and then hell to pay. Boom, boom. But that did trigger the higher low and a higher high. Higher low, higher high, dropping in it at least a half of a point. That goes from here to here. Then it came down and it made another higher low. Right? That higher low, that would take it down to a 1. That makes sense. And now we got a higher high, or a lower high. That puts it back up. This was my only uncertainty was, but I feel like it's right. So here's how I'm seeing it. We had a 1.25 drop, shaken, not stirred. I mean, it was a heavy one, but wasn't terrible. Did we get another point or another point and a half to give us over 2 points in 2 weeks? No, it was only half a point. That's good right there, right? Half a point more. It's only 1 3/4 point total. That's not terrible. And now what? Now we've stabilized. And we've stabilized at a 5.5. Okay. Does that mean that's it and we're out of the woods and things are going to go? No, we could definitely just still stabilize for another week and go sideways for another week. We know that. We know January has that type of propensity from a cyclical standpoint. When you look at the historical way that the market moves. February, March, April, great. We're in line for that bullishness still. It's a matter of when. So should we be ready to start pulling triggers? If we're getting signals at a 5.5, the answer is yes. which is why a trade alert came on Friday, which is why I would expect there to be some more, which is why we would expect to see some setups as we move over to our watch list, thinking about sneaky reversals, thinking about sneaky reversals and thinking about strong stocks giving new setups. We have both cases. So I would expect next week to be with some activity as we see this posture and we think about what are the implications of this posture. Oh, we should be trading. Yeah? Can I look at the major market 22-day? Absolutely, I can. Can and will. Major market. Is that what you said? Sorry. Major market. Yeah. Definitely shook the small caps the worst, right? Definitely shook up the small caps the worst. And so we want to see if they can recover back above, or do we see something that we start to interpret as a defensive shift? Yeah, I think that's something that we should be considering. Okay. Let's get to the watch list. The VIX, we got the lower high. That's a great looking signal coming out of this. Sub 18, sub 20. Looking for a start of something here, right? I mean, we should be looking about this about the same way as we see here. 1121, 1122. 1121, 1122 was here. And then gave us this. So what we're seeing here, very similar. Yeah, I'm looking for it. I think we should be looking for it. What do you guys think? Let's get to the watch list. Let's build a good opportunity list for this week. Call it a day. Apple. I'm still thinking about Apple in this situation. Yes, it got a little bit rattled by some news, but it held the 50. And if it bounces, even back to this old high is going to give you, as long as you have a pretty good entry, there's some possibility there. Amazon, we put a go on Friday. You can see what we're looking for there. Coming out of this little triangle consolidation pattern and looking for the bounce now. I'm going to say App Lovin'. The pattern I'm looking for here, even though it has kind of some overall sideways, is how have we come out of this? And I'm starting to look to see, am I catching these higher lows that have just that ability to now take off and catch? That's it. If it has that, I think that there's viability there. Then it's just about finding what you like. AXP. There it is. It tested the 50. It held back to the old high. Small pullback starting to turn. Yeah. I think you're going to find that if you want to trade, you'll find some trades. BAC is in the same place. We're seeing it in financials. Test if it broke the 50, did it test the 100? And can it transition from here like it has other times? BK. BK's still a little underwater for me. It's still kind of holding those old lows. We don't need to force anything onto our lists. BX looks pretty good. Carrier. It's low, but even here, this one is all the way back around its 200, but it's still giving me this kind of sneaky reversal pattern where the consolidation accelerated, and now all of a sudden we're seeing this little shift happening over here. So, can you see a similar thing where it does this and then it goes. If you wait, that's fine. If it goes up and then does this, okay, now you're over here. That's just as good as it was over here. But what are you seeing as we're coming out of the dust settling? What are you looking for? Where are you finding it? Caterpillar, not quite as much for me. So I'm going to say no on that one. CLS looks good. I'm not quite sure where I'm putting that. CLS looks like it's ready to go. That was one I was looking at. If you took a trade on that, I would be right there with you. CMG, not yet. CNK, not yet. Coherent, honestly, I wouldn't chase this. This is coming off a new low, but we've got 2 days of buying, so the next pullback, I think, is the one. I'm not going to get rid of this because the next pullback looks like it could be good. Cisco, I like. Delta, it's trying to hold up. We'll see what it does. There's the Dow. DocuSign. I still think DocuSign has something for us. Fastenal is a no. It's just making new lows. There's nothing there. You just draw a straight line down. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. What are we looking for? If it does this, then all of a sudden we're back in business. Other than that, we're spectators. Flex. Ooh, Flex looks good. Flex had definitely a signal on Friday, coming off this higher low. All of these could be transitioning now into Heiken Ashi trades for continuations if you like these. GE Vernova, definitely. GEV out of the industrials, very strong. Gold, still iffy. GM. Yeah, put GM on the list. I don't know if it's discretionary, industrial, kind of a mix, but maybe something there. Google, definitely. You know I like Google. Can I explain a Heiken Ashi trade? Well, see, right now on Google, it's just barely starting to give a turn. And if I look at the Heiken Ashi, it's not there yet. I need one more. Some of these that have already turned, like GE Vernova, that's already given me the second Heiken Ashi. So now I'm trading that a little bit more aggressively as a continuation trade. I'm not like, hey, is this thing going to catch support? I'm like, hey, it's already bouncing. So I don't have to put a stop way back here. I can put that stop a little closer up and use the Heiken Ashis to manage it going forward. So it's just really like I'm looking at those as if they've already started moving. It's not like, are they? It's more like, are they going to continue? And that becomes a continuation trade, just a slightly different mindset. Goldman, maybe. Home Depot, not yet for me on that one. Howmet Aerospace, I like that. Up there with GE Vernova. IBM, not yet. IP, not yet. Why not yet, Scott? You might be wondering. Because they're all making new lower lows. I am not trying to call that as the low, nor that as the low, nor that as the low. What am I waiting for? I want my low to be here. Up, down. Oh, that's a different one. These are all going down still. When it does this, then we can have a different conversation. But if it's a lower low, if it's the lowest low, to me, that's part of the knife. Still spinning, still falling. Are you going to catch it, or are you going to wait for it to hit the bottom? IWM, iffy. JCI, okay. I like Johnson Controls. Put it on the list. KKR, you know I'm going to put on the list. And it was firing a potential trade on Monday. So if we have a nice continuation opportunity, we may find one there on Monday. MasterCard, yes. Meta, may as well. Communication Services has some good ones for us. Morgan Stanley, that's a maybe. Microsoft, not yet. Still new lows. NDAQ, still new lows. Netflix, sure. Sure, I'd put it on the list. It's expensive, though. Nvidia, yes. May as well put TSM at the same time, but we'll keep going. PLTR is a yes. Obviously. Big entry. PayPal, that's a yes. It's a great looking watch list, I think. Plenty of things. Qs look good. Roblox is a yes. Reddit is a yes. RKLB, those are all yeses, as you'll find. Yes. Yes. Not only new lower lows, but the stochastics is downward, is also why it is not a call trade. Oh, okay. For me, stochastics is, I don't even look at it if I don't have price action in place. It's the last 5%, but you're right. It's certainly an easy one to use. PLTR again nearing 52-week high. Yes, love it. How many 52-week highs have we benefited from PLTR? I love that. Absolutely. 52-week highs is a good thing. SoFi, not yet. SPY is looking just fine to me. TJX, not yet. T-Mobile, not yet. I'm not in a hurry to force things on. Toast, I like Toast. That's payment processing, right? Toast. Tesla's trying to smash back, but I'm going to wait and see. TSM looks good. TTD, not yet. Twilio, I like Twilio. Upwork, yes. My list just gets unwieldy on my card here. VRT. VRT's back in business, but not until the next pullback. VSCO. Maybe. Walmart. I like Walmart. And Zillow. Not yet for me on Zillow. We got a huge list across all 5 growth sectors. Where we have a stabilized posture, stabilizing at a 5.5. Don't get it wrong. 5.5 was all as good as we had for quite some time. Six only has been touched a few times, which means that if this thing shows additional strength, we'll be right back in the 6s and 7s. So we should be poised to take advantage of that. Thoughts? I think it looks good. I think we should be ready to transition directly into trades, possibly trade alerts on Monday, depending on how the futures look. We should be ready to go. Carrying trades, new trades, looking for the next window, looking for next opportunities. Am I missing anything? Look how low the volatility is for Walmart. I'll go back and take a look at low IV. Cheap options. I don't know what that spike was. It's throwing us off a little bit, but I can still isolate 25, very low indeed. It's been lower, but it's still quite low, very low. Cheap options. Just an FYI, some of you have your comments possibly only going to Scott. I have it set to everyone, don't I, Press? I thought I changed it on participant can chat with everyone. Oh, you still have to put it on your end to me. Ah, I looked for it, Press. Your default is set to everyone. I'm changing it right when the meeting comes on, and I'm still reorienting myself. I didn't see anywhere in the comments that let me adjust that, or in the settings that let me adjust that, but I'm still going in and playing with it. We'll get it right. But Press, thank you for flagging that. I want you guys interacting with each other. I mean, obviously at your discretion. If you have comments that you just want to go to me, that's, of course, up to you. Okay. That was a great session. That was a great session, you guys. I feel like we've all connected back. We're oriented. The group is in a good place. The posture's in a good place. Look for some changes. Whenever I change anything, I am going to announce it. I'm going to try to post, like, here's what the meeting is going to be. Here's what the agenda looks like, so you can kind of get a sense. I'm excited about some of the changes that we have coming. So some agenda changes, as I said, the addition of text to our alerts, that's happening this week. Look for that. Any other comments or suggestions that help onboard beginners, let me know. Looking forward to that. Otherwise, it's good to see everybody for a Sunday. I've missed you. My Sundays haven't felt complete without you, but now we're back together, analyzing the market as our best friends club should do. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. As always, happy trading.
Record.